F1 is back, and this time it's the first leg of a triple header here in Spain at the Barcelona-Catalunya circuit. I am so excited for this weekend. The first triple header of the year, Spain, Austria, Silverstone, gonna be an absolute blast. I cannot wait to get it going, but we're here to make our predictions for what's going to happen this weekend in Spain. We're going to talk about our biggest positive surprise, our biggest disappointments, our qualifying top three, our race podium, and we'll finish things off with our one crazy prediction. Let's go ahead. Let's jump on into this thing. Let's kick things off with my pick for biggest positive surprise, and this week I'm picking a driver who made one mistake towards the end of Canada that put him down the order. That's right, I am back on the Yuki Tsunoda train. I think we're about to see the bounce back of the year for Yuki, who has been driving unbelievably well so far to start this year, and it took one rare moment on a semi-damp track that sent him careening through a chicane and spinning, putting him down the order. But I think we're going to see an absolute bounce back from our boy Yuki, who's going to come back from Canada. We're going to see him score some solid points. I think we're going to see him handily beat Daniel Ricciardo this weekend. Yuki has been driving like a man possessed this year, and I don't think one simple weekend in Canada with one simple moment that is going to hold him down for too long. So Yuki, congratulations, you're my pick for biggest positive surprise. Moving things right along to our picks for biggest disappointment, and I have gone for a driver who is probably feeling a little bit down about his current position on the grid and within his team. I have gone for Esteban Ocon. I don't think this is going to be anything from particularly his own fault, but I do think that he and Alpine are in such a weird spot right now with their relationship. We saw at the end of Canada with the team orders to let Pierre by, but then the refusal to let Esteban back through. At the end of the race, it definitely didn't seem on, and you could tell after the race due to the radio messages that you saw from the going back and forth between the team and Esteban, that I don't think there is a lot of good relationships left there, and I think we could potentially see the first implosion in Alpine, at least when it comes to the driver actively in their relationship with the team. So unfortunately, Esteban, I don't even think it's going to necessarily be any fault of his own, but I do think Esteban Ocon could come out with a bit of a disappointing weekend, and potentially not even his own fault. Let's roll right along to Saturday, qualifying day here in Spain. I think we're going to see a very exciting qualifying, even if the pick for pole position is going to match what we've done a lot this year. This is the first return back to a purpose-built track like Spain. I think it's going to be the first time that we get to see some teams really stretch their legs once again. It's been a long series of some street circuits here recently, and so I think it's about time that we get back to a purpose-built track like Spain, especially now that they have gotten rid of the final chicane. I think it is definitely a much better circuit in terms of what we're going to see in terms of racing, and so I am excited to see qualifying once again. I think it's going to be a good session, but let's start with my pick for P3 in qualifying. I have gone for Lando Norris. Obviously, the McLarens have looked very strong here in the last few weekends. Lando even taking his first win a few rounds ago in Miami, and I think that they are definitely one of the teams I think excited to get back to a street. I almost said a street circuit, a circuit like Spain, and I think we're going to see them perform very well around Spain. And Lando, even last year, before the McLaren really took it to major leaps, still managed to qualify in third last season, and so I think we're going to see a similar performance here. And Lando is going to put a P3 in qualifying. Moving on towards P2, I have gone for the hometown hero, Carlos Sainz, to qualify here on the front row in his home race. I think, like I say with every single home race driver, I think you're going to come extremely focused and ready to see what he can do, and he has been very, very good this year. He's been not necessarily down. Obviously, he had his moments in Canada as well, but he wasn't alone in that. And so I think coming back to Spain, I think we're going to see him put in a worldly performance and back to how we saw him driving at the beginning of the year. And so Carlos Sainz is my pick for P2 here in qualifying. And then that leaves one and only position left, pole position here in Spain. And I think it's going to be very disappointing to see, but I think we're going to see Max Verstappen return to pole position once again. I think a circuit like Spain with its high-speed corners, a good mix of high speed and traction zones, I think we're going to see Max be able to do what he does, extract the maximum out of that Red Bull. And while I don't think the gap from Red Bull to the rest of the field is as large as it once was, I do think Max is still going to be able to get the most out of that car, and it's still going to be plenty good enough to put it on pole position. All right, before we head to our race podium predictions, if you haven't already, subscribe down below if you're a fan of F1 or sim racing content. We're definitely in an iRacing kick right now, but we also have a lot of fun chatting about F1 in the meantime. So if you haven't already, subscribe down below and leave a thumbs up if you like the video so far, or if you're still holding off until the end of the video to leave a like, I respect that decision too. So I can't wait to hear what you guys think about Canada down in the comment section below. But for now, let's go ahead and jump into our race podium. All right, let's move on to what we all come to see every weekend, our race podium predictions. We're going to start in P3, the bottom step of the podium, and we have gone for Charles Leclerc. Now, I think this prediction is based entirely around the fact that I don't think we're going to see another weekend like we did for Ferrari last weekend. I like to think that it's just a flash in the pan. We're really going to find out this weekend, and if, I'm wrong, man, I'm going to be hurting for points in our predictions championship, but nonetheless, Charles Leclerc definitely has been one of the better drivers this year. I think Ferrari is definitely found some good pace in the car to compete at the front and definitely compete for podiums. And so I think Charles is going to find his way back onto the podium again, especially if we get just a normal run-of-the-mill weekend. And so I think we're going to see Charles return to the podium here in the P3. Moving on to my prediction for P2, I have gone for the Spaniard of Carlos Sainz. I think Carlos is going to be able to hold position, and I think that he's going to do enough in his home race to come home and finish in second position. I think he'll be extremely excited about that. And a double Ferrari podium, if it were to come true, I think the Tifosi will be more than happy, especially after what they saw in Canada. And so Carlos, I think we're going to see return and make up, I think, for the weekend he had in Canada. Definitely not one of his finest moments, but I think we're going to see him turn it around, and we're going to see him finish P2 here in Spain. And then finally, that brings us to our race winner, and I think you all know where I'm going with this. My pick for the winner of Spain in 2024 is Max Verstappen. I don't really even know if there's a whole lot of explanation needed here. I think it's taken a lot of good luck and for other teams and very bad luck for Max to see him finish not at the front. I do think Red Bull has been struggling a little bit here recently, but we did see, we have seen last time out that eventually he is kind of inevitable, and I think if he gets a nice smooth weekend on a track like Spain where he's done a lot of running, a lot of experience, the team has had a lot of experience, I think they're going to be able to use that, and I think Max is going to come out and just finish at the front. So maybe I'm wrong, but unfortunately my prediction is for Max to win the Spanish Grand Prix. All right, let's finish this thing up with our one crazy prediction, and I have gone very crazy because the driver that I have made my prediction about has had very limited good results so far this year. He's definitely been known for some other things besides his on-track results. And so my one crazy prediction is that Kevin Magnussen is back in the points once again in Spain. He has scored exactly 1 point so far this season, and I think we're going to see Kevin back in the points. I don't know if it's just the Haas hopium in me, the Haas delusion syndrome coming back once again. But I think it's just a vibe in the air that I think we might see a good weekend from Haas, who looks very promising at points during Canada and have looked, punchy so far this year. Although it's been a minute since we've seen a really good start to finish weekend for them. And I'm hoping that this first leg of a triple header will be the moment that they shine and they're able to put some good results on board. And so I think we're going to see Kevin Magnussen in the top 10 once again and scoring some more points for the American F1 team. Guys, that wraps up our predictions for the 2024 Spanish Grand Prix. And if you are interested in joining our community predictions that you saw over the course of the video, you can go ahead, head to the description below, join our Discord. We love chatting about F1 during the weekend and chatting about nonsense all of the other times. But if you're interested in having your predictions heard and seen on the video every race weekend leading up to it, I'll make a call for the same predictions that I make, and you'll be able to have yours shown along the bottom of the video. We would love to have you. We're trying to build this little small community, one person at a time. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video and you hadn't liked already, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment below what you think is going to happen in Spain this weekend. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for me here. We'll see you after the race weekend is done and dusted with, and I hope you enjoy it, but we'll see you in the next one.